Ain't Nobody Here, an African American folktale by Lynn Ford. An old man sat in front of the fireplace one evening, just sat and rocked, warming his feet by the fire. The fire crackled, the rocking chair creaked. Then a thing slowly rose in the flames, stepped out of the fire, and soon stood in front of the man. They just looked at one another, that thing and that man, without saying a word. That thing sat down in the second rocking chair and started rocking right in time with that man. Creak, creak, creak. They rocked that way a long, long time. The fire crackled. The rocking chairs creaked. Then that thing turned to the man and grinned and said, "Man, ain't nobody sitting here rocking by the fire, nobody rocking but you and me." Well, that man jumped right out of that rocking chair, ran right through the front door without opening it, lurched down the porch stairs, and raced down the road. That old man ran faster than any old man had ever run. As soon as his bare feet slapped against the road, that old man heard something close behind him. He felt something warm on the back of his neck. He looked over his shoulder. There was that thing breathing his foul breath on him and running just as fast as he was. That thing grinned and said, "Man, ain't nobody running down this here road. Nobody running but you and me." That man ran faster than any man, old or young, had ever run. His heart nearly pounded its way out of his chest. His lungs burned as he struggled to get away from this thing. A wall of smooth stone stood at the bend in the road. The old man fell against that wall, then leaned against it and panted as he tried to catch his breath. He looked down the road to see if that thing was near. It was. That thing was leaning against the wall, right beside the man, close enough to tickle that old man's neck with its long, dirty fingernails. That thing grinned and said, "Man, ain't nobody leaning up against this here wall. Nobody leaning but you and me." That old man started to climb that wall, but the stones were smooth. The old man slid and slipped and slid some more. And right next to him was that thing, climbing and slipping and sliding and grinning as it said, "Man, ain't nobody trying to climb this here wall. Nobody climbing but you and me." That old man quickly reached the top of the wall, a little too quickly, for he lost his grip. He slipped and fell, thump, on the other side of the wall. That thing reached the top of the wall and jumped, thump, and landed on the old man. It pushed itself up and looked that old man in the eye. It grinned and said, "Man, ain't nobody here on the ground. Nobody here but you and me." That's when the old man passed out. The next morning, somebody came along and saw that old man beside the wall. That somebody shook the old man until he revived and helped him up from the ground. That somebody dusted off the old man's clothes and put an arm around his shoulder. "Poor man," said the somebody. "Please tell me what happened to you." The old man trembled and nearly cried. "Last night," he said, a thing stepped out of my fireplace. It chased me out of my house, down this road and up this wall, and it jumped on me. And I guess I passed out." "Oh," said the somebody. How terrible. But don't worry now, man. You see, there's nobody here. Nobody here but you and me.